Sometimes teachers like to shorten this and just say Vira. Okay, Virabhadrasana, the warrior. Now how long or how wide should my legs be when my legs are apart? In this pose, which is the warrior 1 or the warrior 2. Okay, so the answer is, roughly speaking, because there's always variations in yoga, if you're standing this way and you take your arms to the sides, level of your shoulders. Now imagine a straight line from your wrist, all the way down to the floor. That's roughly where you want your ankles to be. Right, so let's do warrior 1. Feet together, facing the front, hands to your heart center. Inhale your right leg up and exhale, take a giant step to the back. My right foot is at 45 degrees, hips facing the front. I bend my left knee and I lift my arms up. I try to tuck my tailbone down, facing down towards the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. And after 5 long breaths, hands to the heart center and step back to the front. That's warrior 1. Now warrior 2, you come from warrior 1 and it's almost the same thing. Inhale, exhale, step to the back. Now the only difference is that you open your hips out to the side. Now, straight line from your heel to the middle of the back foot. Now the foot here doesn't have to be at 45 degrees because your hips are facing the side now, so you can place it at 90 degrees. Okay, so what you don't want to do is turn towards the toe edge. Really press so that your foot is really flat down on the floor. Almost pressure on the outside edge of the foot. I bend my left knee so that roughly the thigh is parallel to the floor. Lift my arms to the sides, look to the left, breathe. After 5 breaths, you can come back, giant step to the front or 2 steps. Now, let me show you again and let's do some instructions this time. Just a little bit of instruction as if you were teaching the class. Inhale your right knee up, exhale, step all the way to the back. And open your hips out to the sides. Lift your arms up by level of your shoulders. Look through the left fingertips. Keep your core strong, spine tall and long, and breathe. Hands together at the heart, turn your torso to the front and step to the front. Alright, so let's do some notes for warrior 1 and warrior 2. Now, it's a bit tricky sometimes, especially if I have my heel in line with the middle of the back foot, to then turn my hip to the front. It starts to now activate some ligaments on the knee. So to avoid that issue, because as you know, most of the issues in yoga would be knees and lower back, you can instead make the alignment of heel, front heel to back heel. So I move a bit to the side. Turn. And again, the back foot is at 45 degrees. And now my hip can face front. I don't stick my tailbone out. I point my tailbone down to the floor, bend the left knee. Here's my warrior 1. I can even do eagle arms. I can bend back. I can place my hands and trap my elbows. That's really good for opening the shoulders. I can also do Namaskar Mudra behind my back. I can interlace my fingers, press the palms together, bend back. Exhale, fold forward. Coming up. I can come out of here through into downward dog as well. So I step my left foot back for downward dog. I want to show you another thing that you can do, and that simply is to lift the back heel. And that gives you even more of a leverage to keep your hips facing this side. Okay? So you strengthen the thigh muscle and you're not twisting the knee at all. This somehow sometimes is a little bit more unbalanced for others because, of course, the whole foot is not down. Okay? You want to keep the legs straight. It's as if you're pressing that back heel towards the back of the room. Right. So you've got some variations there for Warrior One. First one is to have the heel in line, front heel in line with the back heel. The next variation is to actually lift the heel. All right. So I want to show you something about the hip and the knees in Warrior Two position. So this time I've got my mat facing you. Lift my right leg up, step it to the back, open my hip out to the side. So ideally you want your hip not too far to the back and not tucked in. Just the tailbone pointing down towards the floor. So enough so that you can feel your core muscles working, but enough that you can breathe as well. Now, the knee. The knee is pointing out to the side, so in this case, facing you, and it's parallel to the length of the mat. So in some instances, you see students do this. So the knee is pointing in, and then if you come and try to move the knee out to the side, what happens is the hip starts to face almost to the front or diagonal. Now, what that means is sometimes there's not enough opening on the hips. So to check, let's see if you're sitting down and you do the butterfly posture. Sometimes you see students doing this, okay? So they're not very open yet on this region. That could be because of not enough yoga practice, so they can still improve on it. But sometimes even after a long time of yoga practice, 1 year, 2 years, they're still at this position. That might mean that it's the bones that are now stopping them from opening up to this capacity. So when you can open your hips up to here, then naturally you can also take the knee out to the side, parallel to the side of the mat, without having to take the hip with it. So there's no right or wrong. Everybody does yoga postures in different ways because we have different anatomical structures. But the same variations with the arms work. For Warrior Two, you can have eagle arms. You can also, this is actually a different pose, is to reach to the back. When you're doing that, don't press down with your right hand, just leave it just gracefully down. And it's to avoid injuring the knee. So this in Hatha is called Warrior 3 or Peaceful Warrior. But just take a note that in Ashtanga Yoga, Warrior 3 for them is a different pose. That's the Virabhadrasana. That's this one. This one to them is Warrior 3. Okay, so just a few differences. So I hope you enjoy your Warrior 1 and your Warrior 2. Congratulations for learning it.